Hey there, and in this video I'm going to walk you through exactly how I put my charts together so you will be able to follow as well and set it up exactly the same way that you see it on mine. Now I'm using ThinkorSwim for this demonstration. This is a platform I particularly use the most for option trading. So the indicators and the things that I walk through are typically going to be on platform that you use, but this is specifically for ThinkorSwim, and there's going to be a couple, actually I think just one in general, that's going to be on ThinkorSwim's platform and probably not on anybody else's. So right now we're just looking at the profit charts here. So if we come into the charts tab here on your platform on ThinkorSwim, you'll have the monitor, trade tab, analyze, scan, market watch, charts, tools, help. Well, when you click on charts, typically you're going to have this one show up if you first started using ThinkorSwim. The one that I specifically use the most is the profit charts, and I use this one mostly for swing trading. So when I mean swing trading, I have a daily chart set up, and I use this one specifically for it. And there's no reason in particular one's better than the other. It's just I like the layout on this one a little bit better than the layout on the normal charts here. So it's whatever you prefer, and I'll show you exactly how I set up the charts on ThinkorSwim as well. We also have the flexible grid, and this one you could set up different chart setups here, and you can see that I have one here as well. I have a different setup on the flexible grid where I have different things that I'm watching in the marketplace, and you could see that looking at specific ones I can have it show up here. We won't cover that. I just want to specifically show you the chart options that you have in ThinkorSwim and how to set them up. So let's click under here, under chart settings here. And what I want to show you is my bar graph, and what I have is candles. And a lot of times you're going to have either line or area, and what I have is a candle here, so you can see it on that. You also notice that I have color bars checked. If we uncheck those, you can see how that looks. It's not what I really like. Streaming chart, I have that checked as well. And log scale, this is just a type of, there's a couple different options here. You can see how that changes. I won't cover this in too much, but I do have it on log. That's how I typically use it, is on log. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the preferences here. And notice on my appearance here that I have my font size as medium. My theme size is silver, and you have different options here. You can have a dark background, a cream color, classic, but I like the silver. I think it stands out a little bit. And study colors, I have them as bright, so they stand out. And you can have the guideline right here. I haven't messed with that at all, and I haven't messed with the study colors either. You can hear the data line in between the boldface. I don't have anything marked here. Snap to open, high, low, close values during drawing. I do have that. So what this means is that this right here is showing up right here. So open, high, low, close. So you can highlight a candle, it'll tell you that all those prices that you possibly could be looking for. So I do have that marked. Italicize items appearing in your watch list more than once. This is automatically checked, I believe. And your time zone. So that's what I have for my preferences. And the other thing too that you might have on here is a grid mode. Now, okay, it's not that one. What I'm trying to look for is that typically this will have a grid behind it. And I just want to show you how to take that grid off. So it's not under the preferences here. So let's take a look at drawing tools. And it might be under customize. Nope, not customize. Okay, under styles. Okay, so here's study colors, font size, reset appearance, contact us. Okay, so I'm not sure why it's not showing up here, but there is typically a grid. Oh, right here, grid lines. So it's under hide. So notice that there's a grid behind here, and this will just tell you like different levels, like 1300, 1275, just how these levels are. I don't really necessarily need that. It's not really that important to me. I mean, you can help it identify lateral levels here. I could do that by drawing. So what I do is I click on the chart, and then I click on the grid lines. So I keep those off, and you also notice here, whoops, that you have some different options as well to hide. So the things I have hidden are, well, I actually unchecked this one because I actually want volume to show, but this is a this is a name that this is a cash market index, so this is not going to show volume. I'll show you in a second what that will look like. Let's take a look at TXT, and notice I have drawings here, but this is where the volume would show up, and you can actually move this down or lower. So let's jump into exactly how to set up my charts. Now, if we click on studies here, we'll click on, you either have save study sets, which I probably should have did before I did this video, before deleting it all of them, but the best way to show you exactly how to put them on is to show you exactly how to do that in a live video. So with this, what I will do is I will start out, and on my charts I have a moving average. Now there's two types of averages that you can use. There's an EMA, an exponential moving average, or a simple moving average. And it's really depending on your preference and what you like to do. I use a combination of both, and it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes honestly, sometimes you'll flip back and forth, because sometimes you'll think, okay, I get a better edge with this. But I'll show you exactly how the simple moving average and the EMA are, not too much of a difference. The EMA has a little bit of a different component in it that should react a little bit quicker on the moving averages. So if I could find the moving average, okay. So you notice here we have a moving average, simple, exponential, and then triangular. So I'll just show you. So let's show you the simple here, and let's apply study. Alrighty, so put it on the bottom here, which is not what I wanted. I want it on the chart. Okay, there we get. Now we got it on. So we want it on price. That's what we want. So right now by default it's the MA30, and I'll show you exactly what moving averages that I use. But for this this right here, we're gonna do a MA30 and an EMA30, and I just want to show you the difference here. So we need to actually change the colors on those. So apply studies, got to come back to it, and we'll click on the EMA, and we'll just click on edit study, and we'll click on the color here, and we'll click on a green. Okay, so you can see where the EMA started to turn here and how quickly it reacted. It's a little bit more of a quicker move. And you notice, right here we had a pretty timed move. This was a little bit spaced out here. But this one reacted a little bit quicker on this quicker move, on this move right here. But you can see here on the EMA will react quicker on big volatile moves, but in a normal kind of a sideways market, they're kind of just in tangent. So it's really just dictated. You notice there's really not much of a difference here. The only difference you can see here is right where this separates, and it gets a little bit more of your reaction here, a quicker move. So it really depends on what you prefer. I mean, I'll show you exactly what I use, but we'll just come back to studies and apply studies here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take and delete that EMA, and I'm going to move and have this moving average here. But I use 3 moving averages. Then I'll show you right now, and I have to come down to moving average, put in a simple, and then put another simple. So the first one I will edit here. So you just click on the top one that you want to edit, and we'll click on edit study. And you have it on close, high, low, medium. I just keep it on the close. The first one I'll put in here is a 50, and by default I always have this as red. On all my charts, my 50-day moving average is red. The reason that is just because that's what I'm used to, and I've just trained my eyes to be able to identify that. You stick with the color, and you just stick with that. You don't want to keep flip-flopping around. You just stick with the color, because then when you're looking at charts, you can just easily identify where the 50-day moving average is. Updated this one, and I'll just keep my line exactly the way it is. I could change my line if I want to, but I'm fine with it. And I'll click OK. So now we see that 50-day moving average here. Now we'll click on the MA30. We'll edit that one. And my next one is a 200. And just as the close data as well. And I'll click on OK. And what I want to do is I want to change the color, and the color that I use for the 200-day moving average is blue, and now we could have the 200-day moving average there. And the next one I use is a 20-day moving average, and the color that I use for the 20-day is a green. Now for the EMA, I actually do use EMAs, and I have a couple different options. So I'm actually going to move So if we just move this to the side here, we can see that we have my moving averages put in here now. So the moving averages are 200-day here, 20-day, 50-day right there. Well, now I'm going to add a couple EMAs here. I'm actually going to add 3. And the first one I'm going to add on here is a 5-day EMA. And the color that I use for that one is actually black. And then the 34 is the next EMA, so the 34 period. And this color right here is actually going to be yellow. The reason I use the 5 and the 34 is actually for swing trading opportunities sometimes. And the last one I use, and I'll show you the swing or how I use it, the crossing wise, but the next one is a 100-day period moving average. This one I actually use orange. Alrighty, so the 5 and the 34 is not that important to me. The most important ones when I'm looking at swing trading opportunities are the 100, the 20, the 200, and the 50. And it's really not that important. I just want to see what other people could be looking at as well. So right now I'm just going to close this and I'm going to show you, how this would look. So you got a lot of lines here. You just have to understand what you're looking for. So, right now we're just getting, you're looking at these levels and you're looking at them as possible resistance and support levels or possible where magnets touch. Notice how the 20-day snakes around here and where prices have been coiling here. Not coiling, I'm wrong use of word, hovering around this 20-day moving average. Notice after when it lost an aggressive move here, it finally caught up with it, saw a little bit of resistance, backed off, and then broke above it. I just use these to kind of see where potential support and resistance levels could lay. Where do levels like this acted as resistance? Well, on this one, not specifically any real level, at this 100-day moving average, it did a little bit, but I look for opportunities to sell and to lock up profits, and for whatever reason it might be, I'm looking for potential levels and support, resistance, moving averages, things to lock up, to give me a reason to take profit that could potentially turn the other way and make me lose money. So these are levels that I have here. Now the 5 and the 34 EMA that I use, and if you remember the colors I use, I have a black one, and if we look at the black one here, you can see these react very quickly. So this is only taking a 5 time frame, and the 34 that I use is the yellow right here. So you could see where this is a kind of a signal alert, and you could see where when this crosses, it gives you a buy and sell signal. Well, the sell signal came here, and this is where you would have profit. Now, you wouldn't have locked up profits until it came back and crossed back on the yellow, which would have been right here. That's how you would use it. You can do it in different ways, but this would have gave you a signal. Well, the next buy signal would have been when it crosses back through. Well, it gave you a buy signal here, did not break through here. So this would have been not really a confirmation here, but then this one would have been. Then it came back, and then you actually would still be long this name right about into this level here. So pretty much it's been traded flat and it hasn't really done much. So your buy signal, you still would have been in here, but you're not. So it's something to use. I mean, if we look at a name like, let's say Priceline, this is a strategy. I mean, this is something I won't cover in this video, but it's just something to give you an idea of how to use moving averages and crosses for it. So we want to find that black line, which is right here, and we would have received a buy signal here on the daily, and then followed it up. Got to find that cross back here, profit there, and then a potential short. We got a short here, bam, find that black, lock up profit here. So it's not perfect. I mean, when you get the cross, and especially what I would say is extreme moves to the downside, it's especially you want to lock up profits, because we talk about the moves being aggressively to the downside quickly, and then you see the quick bounces. But let's jump right into the rest of this and set it up. So on studies, we want to go back to apply studies, and right now we have our EMAs, so that's taken care of. Now we want to put some indicators on our charts. Now I use an ATR. There's a couple different things you could use. I use an ATR, and the reason why I just use an ATR is because, and we want to put it, what we'll do is we can just click on apply study, and that's exactly how we'll make a new box for it, and that's how we apply it. And we just press OK. And right now we have an ATR. This is an average true range. It takes a 14-day period, and when we zoom in, it just tells us what the average true range is. So at this point in time, when we hover over it, the average true range is about 20 points. And this will tell us that prices can move about 20 points in a day. We saw a big sell-off here and so forth. And we want to keep that in mind if we're day trading and or day trading or swing trading of a potential move, especially when you're selling spreads and trying to identify where potential support, or if a level comes into support and we're at a support level, let's say right here, you use that ATR and say, okay, well, it's come into support, and it typically moves about 20 points, and it's moved about 18, so it still has about $2 left of movement, and it could probably have support there, so maybe I sell a put spread. So that's the reason why I use the ATR, just to kind of look to see what the levels are. Now the next one that I use, we'll go to Apply Studies, is a MACD, and I actually use, I'll give you a couple different options here, but I'm pretty sure it's the first one here. Let's click on Apply Study, or we just drag it in here. Okay, so yeah, the MACD 3 here. So it's the MACD histogram plus 2 lines. So it gives you the histogram here, and then you have the typical moving, or the MACD line, which would be typical this line here, or you can actually use this one, which is just the histogram with breakout signals. And let's see how that one looks. You can see where the signals are. It just gives you a graph on where the zero line is and where buying pressure and selling pressure could arise. So you could see here, this would have been somewhat of a trigger for a long here, and we got this big move right here and then faded off. Well, this is a breakout right here, and you got to sell into it. Well, what did it give us? A sell signal here. When I look at the MACD histogram, I don't really see too much if you're just using the histogram. What I'm looking at as well is these lines, and I won't go in too much in this video, but this is exactly what I'm looking for. And I mostly use the histogram really because I want to see, and I use the histogram more on a intraday chart than a daily chart, because I just want to see where selling pressure. So these bars represent selling pressure. So right now we're getting selling pressure subsiding, and you can see where a top of a reversal trend could occur. Reversal meaning that the buying pressure subsided here, but we didn't really see a pullback. We saw it subside, but it didn't go red to give a sell signal. It kind of just went zero, and then we saw more buying come in, then kind of flatten out again. So that's how you use it. So I'm going to go back and delete the histogram. I don't use that one. And the typical ones I use are 18, 17, 9. So this is normal. You can mess around with them. How you would do it is just click on that, edit, but I just use the basics. Next one that I use is the OBV. And there's two that you can use. You can use an OBV, which is an on balance volume. It just takes the kind of what the volume potentially is. It'll show you that institutional money flow. So that's the on balance volume. We'll just show you. And the other one that you can use is called the money flow. Okay, go back to M. It's called the money flow index, or the MFI. And you could see here, they particularly show the same levels here. The money flow, we'll click OK here. You see the OBV has more points, and the MFI is more, I would say, more rounded. Now, is it a good indication? Just using this? No. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at levels here. I'm looking at, this is what I have drawn here is a potential resistance level, and is money coming into this level. What I want to see is I see a divergence here. I see this level not as high as this level, and what I want to see is a gradual increase of money rotating back into this name. Well, what we're seeing now is selling coming in, and you can see that the OBV has reacted a little bit faster than the MFI. But so I use the OBV, and actually what I do is I apply studies. If we scroll down here, I will click off this or that one, and I'll actually put the OBV with the MACD. I'll close that box here, edit the study, change this line on the down balance volume, and I'll actually change this to orange, and we'll actually give this a little bit of more of a weight, and I press OK. So what this is doing, I can look at these both, and I could just kind of see, look at the histogram. If there's an opportunity here, we're having sell signal here, or selling on the histogram, and we also have OBV coming down as well. So I just put them together instead of having it all together. I actually have the MACD above the ATR typically. So we have that one, and the last one that I use is called the average implied volatility. If we go to studies, apply studies, this is one that I think is only on the profit charts. I know it's not on the regular charts, but profit charts here, and we'll click on the average implied volatility. Alrighty, so for some reason I am not seeing it here, so it must be under the eyes. Alright, it's somewhere here. Just gotta look for it. I'm gonna pause the video right here real quick so there's not too much blank space. Alrighty, so I just went through this a few times, and I'm gonna actually have to contact support, but I don't think it's available anymore. The average implied volatility that I used to use, if it was, it'd actually be up here. I don't know why I had it on my chart and I deleted it, which now I feel a little silly. But the last one that I use is the RSI Wilder. If we scroll down to the RSI right here, the one that I use is this one, and we'll just create a new box. Actually, it's not that one. It's nope, it's not that one either. I'm pretty sure it's this. Nope, I didn't put it in the box. I create a new box for it. Yeah, it's this one right here. This RSI 2. It's the Relative Strength Index EMA. So this is what my charts look like without the average implied volatility. But this just tells you an overbought and oversold. So when we get over here, it gives you kind of a signal to potentially sell. And you can see, you have to line it. You don't want too many things on your charts. And that's why I look for patterns and support and resistance. And when I look for patterns, possibly if we come down to support, like right here, you look to see of how overbought or oversold it is, and potentially look for a bounce play, which that would have right here would have been the play to the upside. If you follow this, purely, this is where your sell signal would have been, and would have been on this high right here. So when you use this kind of indication or indicators, you got to make sure that if you're using it on a longer term time frame, that you're either have enough time on your options to trade them, or you're deep in the money as well. So you also need time as well. So you got to make sure you have enough time. So that's exactly how my charts are set up, and this is exactly how you would set it up as well. Well, let's take a look here at the regular charts on ThinkorSwim, and you can see I have a few different things here. Now I scroll between a couple different things, and I have a couple different setups, but the one that I use mostly on the daily is, again, you could set up your EMAs and your SMAs or your moving averages the same way. You can see that I have it on here. I don't have as many because I use that one specifically for swing trading or my daily charts, but you could see here if we click on styles and actually just chart settings here, what I have this moving average here, and I have a MA crossover with an alert. That's actually a special indicator that I have. It just gives me these alerts here where the crossovers are. A top and bottom picker as well, which is a stochastics. This is based off the stochastics here on the RSI. And the ones that I have below are an RSI EMA, a MACD, again, the MACD right there, the stochastics RSI, and then an Ogden standard deviation plot. This is a Jeff Ogden indicator, which is not showing up on this short-term chart here. So those are the ones that I use, and this is how you would set it up as well. And my preferences on it, you could tell, you could show here that I have, I don't have an overlap volume, I have it regular. I have subgraph, my scale to access, I have fit studies, and fit study markers, show the 1 year marking line, you got studies and options here. I have also for appearance, I have candles, green, red, doji shows up as white. This shows me that on a chart where the price is open and closed at the same time, price fills and gaps, I have it checked for red to show me that this opened here and closed lower. My volume bars, I have it as color as symbol ticker, so it just shows me that this one is green, and on a green day you got red. So on a red day you got volume picking up here, doji, you got some indecision here. Equities, I have it as show it corporate actions, subgraph, but I don't have, this is important here if you want to see extended hours, then you can highlight the extended session here on the futures or on the stock by checking this one. But you can see you have different options here. So you want to make sure what you do is you set up, and what I actually have set up is different chart setups. So if you can see here, if I scroll down, I actually have daily, market internals, market watch 1, market watch 2, screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. I have these all set up here, already programmed and ready to go. So if I clicked on this market internals here, okay, actually what I do is I wanted to show you this one as well. I talk about that one pretty often, this volume And this one is a volume profile. It's right here. This just shows you this is volume pockets and bar graphs, and what we look on the daily is what we want to see where a lot of volume is traded, where potential support could be. Well, when we look here, we could see that a lot of volume traded at this level here, which is support. So if we got a pullback, so we got light volume up here, and we get a pullback, we could see buyers show back up here. And if they actually burn through it, that there's going to be a lot of sellers coming in on a retest of that level. So what I will do is I will pop this open here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, let's say market internals. What's going to ask you is the grid layout will be reloaded. Just click OK. This is what one of your charts set up would look like already. And you just click that, and you already have it set up, so you can just kind of flip through them in an easy manner. So let's say if you're day trading, or you have an option, you look at option contracts or trading options, and looking at the 5-minute chart or so forth. Instead of having to flip through it all the time or having different indicators for each thing, you can flip through it relatively quicker. So hopefully this video will help you set up your charts using the ThinkorSwim platform exactly the way that I do it. Kind of a little bit of understanding of why I use certain indicators, and also if you're on a different platform of how to set it up and the indicators that I actually use. Now, the reason why I do use these indicators is just to kind of help me get an entry point. I want to see on a pullback on support a little bit of a divergence. Like right here, I could see that we got a big move into the oversold territory here, and it gives me a little bit of a confidence. Not only that, to seeing how aggressive this price move lower, but a possible entry point here. So you don't want too much stuff going on. You just want a few things, and like I said, I have a few things, and that's what I'm looking at. Until next video, thanks for watching. After you subscribe to the channel below, make sure you head over to optionsizzle.com and download my free report on how I outline the process of finding options that are on the verge for explosive moves.